morning to one and all. So thank you so much for attending our session today. So in celebration for National Arts Month. So I'll be presenting the flow of today's discussion. So this would be pre-recorded as you were informed earlier. And I hope you can see the slides. So every February, we are celebrating National Arts Month. So the theme for this year is Ani ng Sining, Diwa at Damdamin. So we prepared our discussion in such a way that we'll be able to discuss intangible cultural heritage and also sustainable development goals. So today, February 10, the Culture and Arts Unit along with Media Works open an exhibit. And by tomorrow, February 11 to 13, the Sining Gunita official entries would be screened. And I think on February 13, there would be a casting and along with musical performances. So for our session today, so we'll be talking about our prepared and pre-recorded discussion or art talks and heart convos. So last February 3, from this class, you already recorded sustaining Putong, the role of present and future generation in its preservation and conservation. But for today, so the other section, February 10, Communication 2B. So I'll be presenting the pre-recorded video entitled The Significance of Tubong, Honoring Traditions and Community in Marinduque. And this afternoon, so I'll be recording the reaction and the discussion on your pre-recorded episode. So by next week, February 17, so it would be your turn, but due to inclement weather conditions and power outage, we are still on the process of editing the pre-recorded segment of the group of Mr. Soleta and company. So about historical context of Putong and Mukpog Marinduque and its relevance to sustainable development goals. And by February 24, we will be reacting on this as well. So our last segment is pre-recorded by the Communication 2B students. So with the title Future of Tubong, the Responsibility of Today's Youth and Preserving Cultural Traditions. So yet again, we already have this in mind. So February 3 is our opening supposed to be, but nonetheless, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts already have their opening of the office at Intramuros, Manila, and I think they also had an opening with the cultural ambassador, the former Miss Universe, Catriona Negrea. But on our end, we pre-recorded thank you for the first group in sustaining Putong in the role of present and future generation in its preservation and conservation. So today, I'll be presenting the pre-recorded segment of the other section, the significance of Tubong, honoring traditions and community in Marinduque. And the same manner, so I'll be presenting both of your pre-recorded episodes to them, and we'll be recording as well their response to your topic historical context of Putong and Mukpog Marinduque and its relevance to SDGs. And finally, so I'll be showing this today. So the last segment about future of Tubong, the responsibility of today's youth in preserving the cultural traditions. So I'll be moderating the discussion, and later on when we stop recording, I'll be presenting the input for our midterm. So as the School of, or the College of Engineering, I should say, will lead the flag raising ceremony today. So it's about 2 weeks before we have our midterm exams. So I'll post here And I'd like to acknowledge the third group composed of Mr. Magbubat, Miss Mascareñas, Miss Ferran, Mr. Ramiro, Mr. De La Cruz, Mr. Manrique, and Mr. Maranda. And for today's session, so we give due credit to Miss Alceda, Miss Office, Miss Montalban, Miss Minay, Miss Matintin, Miss Manay, along with Miss Mabolo and Mr. Tumbaga. And again, due to constraints, we also acknowledge the group of Mr. Soleta, Miss Marcelisa, Miss Laracas, Miss Ablan, Miss Justiniana, Miss Mirafiles, Miss Buenaventura, and Miss Cristel Hasa. And before we end, I'll be showing you as well the pre-recorded by segment of the group of Miss Lozano, Mr. Asi, Miss De La Cruz, Miss Galion, Miss Isuli, Mr. Hagom, and Mr. So, keep posted. So, I'll be sharing with you the video, then we'll have the discussion later, then we stop recording, then we follow up with our other input for our midterm exams. Okay, so I'll share the video first.
Significance of Tubong, honoring tradition and community in Marinduque.
To begin with, Tubong is a traditional ceremony that is rooted on our values in community, cooperation, and cultural heritage. So this practice serves as a precious key or a representation of hospitality and gratitude, which reinforcing social bonds and illustrating the warmth of the Marinduqueños. By embracing Tubong, we're not only preserving local traditions, but also we enhance a sense of belonging and identity among the community members, which enriching their lives and fostering communal harmony. The February Arca serves as a vital platform to promote awareness and appreciation of cultural practices like Tubong. So this event brings together with the artists, educators, and community leaders, allowing for meaningful discussions about the importance of recognizing and celebrating cultural heritage in the face of globalization. And engaging with these traditions, which help us understand their vital role in sustainability development, emphasizing that preserving cultural practices can lead to a more inclusive and equitable society.
First question is, what is Tubong and how does it reflect the traditions and values of the Marinduque community? The next question I would like to ask is, in what ways can Tubong practices be incorporated into contemporary art and educational programs to sustain its relevance? Another question that I would like to ask is, how can the February Arts Talks help raise awareness of the cultural significance of Tubong and engage the youth in its preservation? And lastly, what role does education play in promoting traditional practices like Tubong, and how can we align it with SDG number 4 for quality education?
Tubong is a traditional welcome rituals in Marinduque that shows respect, hospitality, and blessings for leaders. Also, it reflects the community's strong sense of unity and kindness, and also cultural pride.
Tubong can be included in modern art through performances, music, and visual arts, and in schools through lessons and activities that teach its meaning and its importance.
The February articles can introduce Tubong to more people, especially the youth, by showcasing its history, performances, and role in Buddhist culture. Education helps preserve traditions like Tubong by teaching students about their culture. It connects with SDG number 4 or quality education by ensuring that cultural heritage is part of learning and awareness.
So, Tubong and Tubong is not just a practice. It is a way of life that fosters cooperation within a community. and its members. It is essential that during these times of the month, especially during events like this, like the February Arts Talks, that we use the specific types of platforms in order to advocate, to save, to preserve, and to honor these types of traditions.
Okay, so we open the floor to the discussion on the topic about the significance of tubong honoring traditions and community in Marinduque. So maybe hear from the communication 2A students, what are your thoughts, comments, insights about what you just saw? So the discussion led by Mr. Tumbaga and the group of Ms. Salceda and the rest of communication 2B students. So what do you think about the discussion on the significance of tubong? Do you agree? And do you have other insights apart from what we already mentioned? So the emphasis of their discussion is just only one sustainable development goal. So that's SDG number 4. So apart from SDG number 4, so what else out of the 17 SDGs do you think they need to point out?
Good morning po, no? For me, the video presentation that had been presented in the platform right now po is relevant since being Marinduqueños din naman po, I do believe that the SDG na pinamote po nila through the video presentation is relevant naman since yan, ganun po kahalaga yung tubong in our province. So, based also on my in my comment naman po sa kanilang gawa is they have the same, I guess, I don't know if yung kanila pong reference is kay Viray, pero somehow it reflects on Viray's study, which is the yung tubong is not only relay on the on hospitality or parang ganun po, pero it also relay on some ritual practices and devotion in some patron saint po. Yun lang po, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hadap, for pointing that out. So, since the last semester, we already devoted some time, so in answering or filling out the intangible cultural heritage forms. So, I asked for the both sections to also include the directory of the Manunubong and also annotated bibliography of the reference. Thank you for indicating Brian Viray's important work on tubong. So I was hoping that apart from the initial timelines that you did for the class, we'd be able to expand on this. So I already integrated some of your insights in the SDG and intangible cultural heritage, and I crafted Sustaining Tutong Pamana 20 and 2030 and Intangible Cultural Heritage of Marinduque. So the topic is the significance and the comment is about the relevance. So I hope that others who are listening will be able to contribute much, if not for today, but in the succeeding reiteration of this art talks and art context. So we will proceed with the other video. So, okay, so hold on. Okay, this is the other video. So,
Cultural traditions are the heart and soul of a community, shaping its identity and connecting generations to shared practices. But in a rapidly modernizing world, many traditions are at risk of fading away. One of these is tubong, a cherished Filipino tradition deeply rooted in faith, unity, and cultural heritage. Welcome to this special discussion on the future of tubong, the responsibility of today's youth in preserving cultural traditions. In this video, we will explore the significance of tubong, the challenges it faces in today's society, and most importantly, the role of the youth in ensuring that this tradition continues to thrive for future generations. What role do do young people play in the preservation of traditional tubong practices in their communities?
Young people play a vital role in preserving traditional tubong practices in their communities. They are the ones who will carry on the tradition and cultural heritage of their ancestors. They can organize activities and projects to promote and preserve tubong in their communities.
How can technology be leveraged by the youth to promote and preserve tubong cultural heritage?
Technology can help the youth promote and preserve tubong by using social media to share performances. Digital archives to document history and live streaming to reach a wider audience. Educational apps, VR and AR experiences, and online campaigns can make learning about tubong. Tubong more interactive and engaging, ensuring its relevance for the future generation.
What challenges do today's youth face in their efforts to maintain cultural traditions like tubong, and how can they overcome these challenges?
Today's youth face challenges such as lack of time, changing interests, and lack of support from elders. To overcome these challenges, youth can organize activities and projects related to tubong, seek support from elders and organizations, and use technology to promote tubong to a wider audience.
In what ways can education systems incorporate the importance of cultural traditions such as tubong into their curricula to encourage youth participation?
Education systems can incorporate tubong by integrating it into history and art subjects, organizing cultural workshops, and encouraging student performances. Schools can also use digital media, field trips, and community collaborations to make learning interactive and engaging, fostering a deeper appreciation for cultural traditions.
Okay, that's about it. The last group that is going to be presented on February 24, led by Mr. Hugno from the section 2B about the future of tubong, the responsibility of today's youth in preserving cultural tradition. So I think it would be better if we can also hear from Ms. Mascareñas and Mr. Manggubat, who also led the very first segment, because you mentioned, and I already asked, what particular SDG, apart from SDG number 4, you think is, if not more relevant, most significant based on your perspective. So I think in your episode, you mentioned 2 other SDGs. So SDG number 11 and SDG number 16. So may we hear also from Ms. Mascareñas, then we will hear from Mr. Manggubat.
Okay po, Doc. Good morning po. So, one SDG that is missing in their presentation po is the SDG 11. Yes po, which is the Sustainable Cities and Communities. So, this SDG po is important to the presentation because it fosters a sense of belonging, and it strengthens also the community's cultural roots po. So that's why we need to include this SDG.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Mascareñas, and well said. So, mahalaga din yan community and cities, kahit wala naman city sa Marinduque. So, we will also hear from Mr. Manggubat regarding SDG number 16. Bakit kasama yung 16 apart from SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 11? Go ahead, Mr. Manggubat. So that we can go full circle. So from the first segment up to the last segment. So we have 4 segments all in all. So the intention was from February 3, February 10, 17, and 24, we will have this series of art talks and heart conversations. But due to technical challenges, so as Mr. Asi has mentioned. So mayroong mga augmented reality, may mga virtual reality, but very basic in internet connection and connectivity. So I guess what Mr. Manggubat was trying to emphasize during the first segment in SDG 16. So yung strengthening ng institutions. So yung peace and development or strengthening of institution, including cultural institution, would be much helpful in preserving and conserving intangible cultural heritage. Kasi kung wala tayong institutional support, so paano natin mapipreserve yung tubong or paano natin mako-conserve yung practice natin ganito sa Marinduque. So I hope that we'll be able to apply this in our everyday life. So even beyond the Arts Month in February, so we will have more discussions like this. By March, we will have Violet lecture series led by the social work students and communication and ELS students as well. So there would be discussing about other intangible cultural heritage such as Morionan and Kalutan. And they would also connect this and relate this to SDGs. Yes, Mr. Manggubat, you are recognized.
Ayan po, sorry po at medyo may na lang po yung signal, hindi po agad napindot yung mic niyo po. SDG 16 po is important din po in promoting and preserving the tubong po because the SDG 16 po promote peace and security po to the people in the community. Like for example po, yung tubong po, like practicing tubong makes feel parang kumbaga yung tinutubungan po ay parang pakiramdam nila ay feel parang sila ay safe at secure, parang secure po sila dun sa pinuntahan nilang community na parang sa pamamagitan po ng tubong ay parang nagki-create po yun ng environment na kung saan ay parang they feel without fear and violence po, parang ganun po.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Magbubat, for pointing that out. So Marinduque is not only the heart of the Philippines, but among the most peaceful provinces there is in the country. And of course, we don't have much security concerns. We don't have any insurgency in the province because it's a close-knit community. So therefore, it leads to strengthening institutions. We have already some legislative support in the town of Buak, in the town of Mugpog, and also in the province of Marinduque as a whole, in support of this intangible cultural heritage. It's just that we don't discuss well enough its relevance to SDGs. So bear in mind, it's already 2025 and the target for SDGs is on 2030. Kaya pamana 2030. So we must recognize there is an urgency, kaya kailangan natin may call to action. So ang call to action natin dito, as Mr. Hogno presented, I quote, we call on every Marinduqueño, especially the youth, to take an active role in preserving putong, learn in history, participate in its rituals, and there is beauty through modern platforms. Together, let us celebrate and protect the rich traditions that define who we are. So, on that note, I end our discussion so we can proceed to our other concerns, especially on the week 9 of our semester. So, thank you and much appreciated your attendance and your participation to our discussion.